calls up item number 99. And let me just say for the record as we begin taking public comment on item number 99, and I recognize Councilmember Qadri to lay it out. We're going to hear and discuss item number 99. My anticipation, and I don't want to prejudge anything, but my anticipation is that council's here prepared to vote on and pass item number 99. Item 99 is based upon the status of state law and a legal interpretation of that law. But it's important for everybody to know that between the time we had an executive session earlier today on item 99 and before we got to item 99, we have a new opinion that came out from the Attorney General based upon a Public Information Act request, and it was received just today. And like I say, at a time when before we could get to item 99 and after the previous executive session, there's some need for clarity to be obtained, and we're going to obtain that clarity and soon. If 99 passes today, I anticipate and believe that the council will be back, we'll bring back another resolution very soon once we have clarity on that Attorney General opinion that would allow the city to do more than was anticipated when we started today in the item 99 that we have in front of us, in order for us to be in the position we hope to be and want to be and desire to be, which is to be in compliance with Prop A as much as is possible. So while 99 as it's written may pass today, I would anticipate that once there's clarity and understanding, clarity and understanding, we would be back with another resolution that goes further than what this is. Councilmember Qadri, it's your item, but I wanted to provide some clarity as the presiding officer, and I'll see if you have anything you want to say at this point.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just want to lay out some stuff before I move for adoption, but what a day. Last year the council decided to let the voters weigh in on the future of police oversight. On May 6th of this year, those voters overwhelmingly supported Prop A over an alternative measure, Prop B. Since that time, our contract with our police officers expired, and council passed in spring of 2023 an ordinance that would allow for set pay and benefits for APD to extend for 1 year. In the past, many provisions of oversight have been defined through police contracts. But because we currently don't have a contract, we must abide by state law in enacting provisions of Prop A. Since the passage of Prop A, the city has been parsing through how to enact provisions of Prop A legally without a new contract. There have been many questions from the community and stakeholders seeking clarification on this process. And the reasons why full implementation of Prop A has not yet occurred. This resolution that we're bringing forward today serves the purpose of detailing and implementing provisions of Prop A that can be legally done. And I want to stress the word legally done without a meet and confer agreement. Specifically, version 2, which we're going to vote on today, and that was posted on the message board yesterday, directs the following. OPO to obtain CJIS certification, which allows for direct and unfettered access to body camera footage and will expedite preliminary investigations conducted by OPO. OPO to maintain and manage their own records, conduct preliminary investigations regardless if a sworn affidavit is completed, post data concerning all complaints to OPO's website, OPO to serve as a liaison to complainants, and then create community engagement meetings for OPO to report on complainant data and answer questions that the public may have about the complaint process. We placed this decision in the hands of the voters in May, and they overwhelmingly supported Prop A. It is now our obligation as their elected representatives to put their will into action. So I'd like to just thank the co-sponsors on this, Councilor Marvella, Ryan Alter, and Councilmember Fuentes, as well as the community advocates and stakeholders who helped us reach this point and I'm excited to bring the item forward. I very much want to also thank staff, and I want to thank Neil from legal for all his work on all this. And with that, I move forward adoption.
The motion is to adopt. I'm sorry. The motion is to adopt item number 99. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Velasquez. With that, I'll call on the city clerk to call our speakers.
First speaker is Beverly Lazar.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Beverly Lazar, and I live in District 8, and I support item 99. And I want to thank Councilman Kadri for bringing it forward, and I want to also thank Ryan Alter, Vanessa Fuentes, and Jose Vela. Prop A, as we all know now, went into effect 4 months ago and has yet to be implemented. It is totally unacceptable that police oversight and transparency functions more like failed Prop B. The will of the voters must be enforced immediately. In May, Austin voters went to the polls to define the future of police oversight and transparency. Prop A was backed by practically every community group in Austin. It passed, and Prop B was defeated. We owe it to the voters and to the thousands of people in this community submitting complaints about police each year, and to everyone that may be harmed in the future, to pass item 99 and follow through to ensure that our police department is subject to strong oversight and transparency. The OPO, thanks to interim city manager, in violation of the voters' approved law, is completely impotent at this point. This is not what the citizens of Austin voted for, and I'd like to thank you very much for your time.
Kathy Mitchell.
Hi, this is Kathy Mitchell. I want to start by saying thanks to Councilmember Zoe and his chief, Sarah Barge. Over the last few weeks, the Office of Police Oversight has finally affirmed to them what people with complaints related to officer conduct have been saying all along, that the Office of Police Oversight is not conducting any investigations independent of APD. The OPO has no independent access to documents needed for independent fact-finding. Instead, everything goes to APD, and OPO only has access to documents if Internal Affairs decides to open an investigation. Without independent access to information, the OPO is not making any informed recommendations with respect to the veracity of a resident story or the possibility of a policy violation. This is one of the primary roles under the voter-approved ordinance, and one that helps families and APD by credibly eliminating unverifiable complaints up front. Meanwhile, there has been a significant gap up in the past between the number of incidents the OPO believed should be investigated and the number IA believed should be investigated, that being far fewer. Fighting for families to get appropriate investigation is the job of the OPO. Independent investigation is the heart of civilian oversight and the main objective of item 99. Let us not forget that police action has serious consequences. You all just this week received an impassioned letter from Virginia Raymond related to the questionable arrest of a person probably experiencing a heat-related health crisis who subsequently died in jail. I had hoped she could testify to you today about this case, but she couldn't be here in person this afternoon. I very much hope this case gets a full independent investigation by the OPO, and without a yes vote today, that seems unlikely. Of the 1,100 resident contacts since April, 72 were compliments. Presumably then, 1,028 were not compliments. OPO, for reasons that have yet to be clarified, categorized two. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Jen Ramos.
Good afternoon, members of council, as well as mayor. Today we are at a precipice. Will we actively respect the will of the voters or look the other way because it's convenient? In May of 2023, voters overwhelmingly asked for police oversight and accountability. So much, in fact, that Prop A passed with a vote margin of 38,822 votes. Interestingly enough, interim city manager Jesus Garza was appointed to his role by a mayor who was elected by the decidedly much smaller vote margin of 700 people in December 2022. We're 4 months in and nowhere near implementing Prop A. It's time our interim city manager starts working for the people of Austin. Our community is looking for accountability and answers to why our police force has reached this point. That means looking into the Office of Police Oversight's conduct. At minimum, a preliminary investigation for all complaints, acting as a liaison to people that complain to help them through the process, managing their own records and reporting public information, and being granted the direct and unfettered access to information they need to do their job. I urge the council to respect the votes of our communities that are overwhelmingly seeking accountability and to vote yes for item 99. Thank you for your time.
Erica Howard.
Hi, my name is Erica Howard Cormier. I'm a native Austinite, a graduate of Martin Junior High and of Austin High, just like my father. I'm a student at the LBJ School of Public Affairs. I'm a homeowner and a proud constituent of District 1. I used to run a small business called Ingredients Grocers on Manor Road. We were open for 6 years, and I was a founding board member for the Manor Road Merchants Association. I'm a mother of 3 children, ages 16, 11, and 2 years old. I am testifying today to express my overwhelming support for item 99. The occurrences leading up to the vote on propositions A and B are quite frankly embarrassing. The deceptive conduct on behalf of the Austin Police Association leading up to this vote was shameful and harmful to the community. We have had false petitions, scrambles to have deceptively collected signatures removed, and at the end of the day, the people, my community, has made their voice clear. We shouldn't have to keep showing up in this way, but we will. As a white woman raising children in East Austin, I have repeatedly seen the police treat my neighbors of color and their children differently than my own family. It is unconscionable that this unethical, immoral, and potentially illegal racial profiling, which we hear about on the media and which occurs on a daily basis in ways whose harms can never be calculated, be given tacit approval by this elected body against the will of the people. The deceptive conduct that has occurred by Austin Police Association is only further evidence of the need for external police oversight. The council chose to trust the voters. The voters have spoken. It is your job to be responsive. The will of the people is clear. These are the same people that elected you, and you have a mandate. As I'm sure you are aware, the issue most deeply affects the daily lives of those who were least likely to be able to dedicate an entire day to wait to speak at a city council meeting. And it seems that everything has been done, at least symbolically, to make it as difficult as possible to participate in this conversation we are having right now, despite the will of the people.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Ruth Moonsing.
Good evening, Mayor Watson and City Council members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to testify. My name is Ruth Menasina. Passing Prop A was important to me because my son Rajan and my whole family experienced the worst from Austin police. Rajan was a businessman in Austin, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist. Police shot my son rather than speak with him. While other officers tried to get the others to uncuff him and render aid, that officer was ignored, and my son fled out. Lies and misinterpretations in the immediate aftermath amplified our pain. Later, the police who spoke with us were never focused on justice for our son, just a transparent effort to exonerate the officers. So we decided Prop A was important and fought for it. My husband, my sons, and I visited with legislators, not once, but dozens of times. We went to leadership officers at the Capitol, too. And during the election, we visited with our neighbors to explain what it was all about. Prop A makes transparency about police conduct a policy of the city. Police cannot do their job without the trust of the people. And right now, it must be very difficult indeed. Despite all the work, the clear mandate by the voters, and the failure of bad legislation to preempt Prop A, the city is yet to implement Prop A. Maybe Prop A would have prevented what happened to my son. Maybe not. But Prop A will ensure that other families won't have to go through what we have experienced, and maybe would have produced better policy about the duty to render aid.
Thank you.
Coming from a place of love.
Thank you.
Oh, can I finish?
Yeah, your time has expired. We appreciate your coming, your testifying, though.
Next speaker is Yasmin Smith.
Yasmin Smith, Vice President of Justice and Advocacy of the Austin Area Urban League. I think coming after a woman who lost her son to the lack of accountability within our policing speaks volumes, and that she only had so little to speak compounds the necessity of item 99. Councilmember Zoe, thank you for bringing this to the dais. It's very simple, folks. We voted it in. It is a mandate, and it is time for you to simply do your job and follow that mandate. Proposition A, as was said by many of my colleagues and will be said by many of my colleagues who we as the Austin Area Urban League stand with in partnership today, was passed overwhelmingly. We owe it to the voters, to the thousands of people in this community to uphold that mandate. As Councilmember Zoe remarked, this is about the legal parts of that mandate, and so I would ask us not to use allegations of illegality as a Trojan horse to mitigate democracy. It is time to do what you have been asked to do. It is time for you to do as the voters have instructed. Simply put, it is time to do your job. I yield the rest of my time, and maybe we can give it to the mother who literally lost her child. Thank you.
Okay, I will now move to in-person speakers. Rebecca Weber. On deck is Angelina Alanis. Daniela Silva. Following is Alicia Castillo.
Good afternoon, Council, Mayor, City Manager. My name is Daniela Silva. I'm a resident of District 3. I would just like to start off by thanking Councilmember Callery by bringing forth this item because it's past time that City implements what the voters have overwhelmingly voiced through voting on Prop A. In order for City of Austin to comply with the revised Chapter 215 of the City Code that voters overwhelmingly passed on May 6, 2023, and the will of this council as laid out in Ordinance 2023-0223-061 passed in February 2023, the operations of OPO must be updated. We owe it to the voters, to the thousands of people in this community submitting complaints about police each year, and to everyone that may be harmed in the future to ensure that our police department is subject to strong oversight and transparency. The changes to OPO outlined in this resolution include only those that can be made under existing state law without a meet and confer agreement with the APA. While not all of Prop A can be implemented outside of a contract with Police Association, the updates described in this resolution are not only legal, but it's illegal not to put them in place immediately. Many of the tasks assigned to OPO by this resolution have been previously done without any special training or personnel, and passing this resolution is essential to showing council's support for police oversight and transparency. And frankly, I'm frustrated that we even have to be here. I would expect the state ledge not to represent me or make decisions in my best interest. That's kind of the status quo at this point. But I always thought that at least Austin would have my best interest in mind, that Austin would be the safe place where our local government listens to its people. But it feels like the ledge has infiltrated City Hall, and here we are as average residents urging council to do their job and follow the law. I urge you to pass item 99 today as a first step in full APOA implementation. Thank you.
Next is Alicia Castillo, Zhao Pao Conley, Shada Burju. If your name has been called, please approach the podium and state your name.
Good afternoon, almost good evening, Mayor and Council. As you can see, and as we can all see, a great number of speakers who had signed up to speak today, unfortunately, are not able to be here due to the many, many delay tactics and stall tactics that have not only made it so that so many folks in our community who signed up to voice to bring their voices here in a democratic process were not able to participate due to the many games and chicaneries that were played today with the folks who signed up to speak. And I will say one thing, though. One thing is clear at this point. The very fact that we have to be here today having this conversation proves to us that a city manager who has recently demonstrated his tremendous disregard for the power and authority of this council shows an even greater disregard for the voters of Austin. Because we wouldn't have to be here today if this city manager took seriously the voice of the people in Austin in May, when over 80% of this community passed Prop A. We should be doing everything we can to fully staff the department, to report to the community on how Prop A is being implemented, to give the the Office of Police Oversight all the power and authority it needs. And we should not have to be having this conversation, but we will come back and have this conversation as many times as is necessary until the day we have a city manager that actually respects the voice of Austin's voters and that respects democracy in Austin. I look forward to that day. And I also look forward to the day when our city council and our mayor respects the rights of the folks who signed up to speak and lays forward a process that doesn't involve multiple, going behind the scenes to multiple executive sessions, such that many of the almost 100 people that signed up to speak today were not able to voice their opinions and were not able to participate in this process due to games that were played here today. So I look forward to seeing this item pass, and I thank Councilmember Kadri for bringing it forward. But boy, have we got a long way to go in showing our respect for the people of Austin and in living up to the commitments that we have claimed to make and to uphold in this community. Thank you.
Next speaker is Shada Burju. On deck is Evelyn Butler and Thomas Downing.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, the city mayor, council members, city manager. Thank you very much for your efforts to serve Austin community. My name is Sada Burjo. I'm from Algeria. I'm here as a fellow with AJC, Austin Justice Coalition, as a part of PFP program, Professional Fellows Program, an exchange program by the U.S. Department, which is a global exchange program designed to promote mutual understanding, enhance leadership, and professional skills. As a leader and a social worker in Algeria, with Association Future for Development, I'm here to support AJC and brave communities for their fight for police oversight, to have real access to data, and the power to investigate police conduct to make people safe. There are two questions here. First one, who does the policing of the police? Number two, what tools do people have to hold the police accountable? Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Evelyn Butler. On deck, Thomas Downing, Fran Tattoo. If you hear your name, please approach the podium and state your name. Amanda Marsullo.
Good afternoon. I'm Tom Downing, a resident of District 5, co-chair of the Racial Justice Task Force of University United Methodist Church. Democracies are like mountains are not permanent. Unseen forces and currents can quietly erode them till no one living remembers that they were there. Right now, two currents threatening democracy seem to be seeping quietly into our city government. The first one ignores the will of the voters. The second leaves police unaccountable to their community. Last May, the people voted for Proposition A to strengthen police oversight. It's now September. Not only has Proposition A not been implemented, but actions by the city have caused there to be less oversight than there were before. It appears the OPO has been mostly reduced to following police internal affairs around, hoping to be allowed to ask questions of those being investigated. In the meantime, the City Council voted police department raises, recruitment and retirement incentives, and most of what the police union requested in the 4-year contract that the city never signed. Council did this in the name of stabilizing the department until a new police contract could be negotiated. I sat in on the last police contract negotiations, and I wonder, why should the police union negotiate now when they already have most of what they asked for without oversight the voters insisted on? Equity action lawyers tell us that even without a contract, enough of Proposition A can be implemented to return the Office of Police Oversight to an effective, independent, investigative body capable of reporting and recommending appropriate actions to the city concerning alleged police misconduct. This is what Item 99 will do. Thank you for supporting it. But remember, policing without accountability leads to oppression, and democracy delayed is democracy denied.
Alicia Torres, Edmund Davis. On deck is David Johnson and Maggie Luna. If your name has been called, please make your way to the podium and state your name.
Good afternoon, good evening. I'm going to take the executive action here and assume that I'm next. I shall, sir. My name, for the record, Mr. Mayor, is Edmund Skip Davis. I've been living in Austin for 25 good years, and I've enjoyed the successes of being a resident in Austin and having access to the courts to seek redress for citizens who have been oppressed by Austin Police Department's brutal practices over the years. Ashton Cumberbatch was here a little bit earlier, and he would have had something interesting to say to this august group. Since he's not here, I was also here as the runner-up for the first for the first OPM, as you might remember, Mr. Garza. And it's good to see you again, by the way. And I will not chastise this august group for the efforts that you went through today and machinations to get where you are today to vote yes. I appreciate that you had that level of deliberation amongst you. And I will remind you, though, we are watching, but I also am cognizant, Mr. Mayor, that the 700 votes that did get you over the top, they were quality votes. I represented Gene Vella, shot in his own house by the police. I represented Gwen Daniels, shot on 6th Street as she was trying to escape a mob that attacked her. I represented Tyler Harrell, a botched SWAT raid. I represented Landon Nobles. Landon Nobles was the case that you guys should be paying attention to. That was a $67 million verdict. There are many more of those awaiting to be heard by juries. That should strike fear in you. The city is no longer going to stand idly by. The thing about all these cases that I've just recently mentioned is that we had the Office of Police Manager, we had the OPM. Can I have a... Okay, very good. I will just leave you with this then. There's a legal system and there's an internal accountability system. Let's make sure the internal accountability system serves our clients better than the legal accountability system. Thank you for your time.
We appreciate you being here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next speaker, David Johnson, Maggie Luna, Elizabeth Gonzalez. On deck is Sarita Fontasini. with Luis Ostalugo following.
Good afternoon, people. Good evening. I'm overwhelmed with everything that's going on right now. I am embarrassed of y'all up there because y'all should be for the people. Remember who put you up there. Remember the community, because you were once like us. Once you get up there and you start thinking about money and all that, y'all forget about us, which is a community. There might not be a lot of people here, but there's a lot of people backing us up on this Prop A. Now, this bullcrap that y'all are just thinking about, it needs to pass. Because if it doesn't pass, this is what y'all are doing to the community. Y'all are spitting on us like our voices don't count. And that's the truth. I'm the only one that probably can be as raw as anything to tell you the truth, because I ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing, okay? I am the community. I'm out there with voices of what I hear, what people can't speak. And what y'all did today, I'm very, very surprised at y'all. Seriously, trying to do this on purpose. That's cool, but there's still some of us here. And another thing that already makes me think that y'all already gonna say no, where's y'all officers that are always here at every meeting? They're not here because they're probably, we got this. Really? So think again, the next time that y'all say no, why are y'all asking for our votes for? Remember, we put y'all up there. Y'all gonna there'll be a time where it's gonna come again, and we'll see if you'll get back up there again. Because when you lie to the people, lie is what I'm saying. All of y'all lie. We're not all perfect, but at least stick to your word and do what you need to do for me, for the people. And what y'all did was embarrassing. I'm just so broken by this, because to me, like I said, y'all already spit on me because I don't see any of the officers here, because there's always somebody here saying something, but I guess not, because they already know they won. So what does that make us? And y'all wonder why we don't depend on the police, because they don't even speak to us. So how are we supposed to communicate? Tell me. Think about that. Y'all don't think about it because y'all don't live in the hood. Y'all don't live like we do. Y'all got a silver spoon in your mouth. Not everybody's lucky like y'all. But remember that if y'all say no, this is what you're doing to the community. Spitting on us that our words don't mean nothing. And they do mean something. Remember that. Remember that.
Next speaker is Sarita Fontanesi. Following is Luis Ostalugo. Hannah Alexander. Please state your name when you approach the dais.
Thank you, Clerk. My name is Luis David Ostalugo. I wanted to thank the council. I wanted to first and foremost thank Councilmember Quadri, Councilmember Ryan Alter, Councilmember Fuentes is not here, and Councilmember Chito Vela for actually taking the lead on this. It was very funny. I just got a text from my partner saying that the mayor may owe her lunch after I was not there to be able to cook it for her. So I may text you her dietary preferences after this. I was going to have a whole thing about what it was like to grow up in a third world country. I grew up very poor there, and the police there basically get to do whatever they want. Kill you, kidnap you, bribe you, shake you down, and God knows, because you can't do anything about it, because they're only accountable to some far-off bureaucrat, loyal party man who can do whatever he pleases without any consequences. And I was going to say something nice. It's good that we live in America, not a socialist dictatorship, where people have freedoms, rights, where democracy really matters, where 80% of the people voting for something means that it happens. And it's just kind of unbelievably infuriating that we bring the kind of insane, petty shenanigans, anti-democratic shenanigans that ought to belong in some far dictatorship or maybe in the state ledge into the city hall, the bright blue gem of Texas, right? It's unbelievable, and the kind of thing that I would hope we leave to other people, worse people who don't care, the way I know every single person here cares, or at least should care, about the constituency, about the people of Austin, about what it means to actually serve the public. Nobody does this. Nobody takes a hard job of public service for money, the parts or whatever some people will say, or for glory, because you do really not get much of that, right? You should do it, and I know everyone here does it for the public service. And what you've done today, Mayor, I'm sure you meant well, but was the kind of unbelievable, disrespectful, disgraceful behavior that I would expect from, the people in power in Venezuela or at the ledge. So I hope you do better, because I know you mean well. Thank you all.
Hello, everyone. I've decided it is now evening, so I will say good evening. Hopefully, my fellow speakers will also think it's evening. Feel like it's been a long day. But my name is Hannah Alexander. I am the Austin staff attorney with Workers Defense. It's good to see y'all again. I am here because in November of 2021, instead of properly serving a subpoena, Austin Police Department decided they should execute a search warrant at our nonprofit office to obtain video footage of an attempted alleged assault that occurred in our parking lot. The conduct of the officers was egregious at various points. They decided it was necessary to pull out their guns and do a search sweep of our nonprofit office. They accused my coworkers of destroying evidence. And so we thought this would be a perfect thing to file a complaint with the Office of Police Oversight. Our experience there was, I don't want to say it was useless, it was probably less than useless because, we did have faith that the system would work, at least to some extent, and that there would be some kind of accountability. And there wasn't. And I've accepted that I'm going to die mad that this happened and that there isn't going to be accountability. But I truly believe that this doesn't have to be the way it is for other people. This is really just kind of a simple thing about democracy. Y'all, maybe not everyone here, because I know the council has changed, but y'all have had past opportunities to implement something like this to make sure that an Office of Police Oversight actually functions to oversee. At first we wanted to wait for the voters to decide, didn't want to pass it last fall. Now the voters have decided. And so I guess, I think it's just a basic democracy that the will of voters should be reflected. And also if there is hesitancy to not have oversight of the people who carry guns and we trust for public safety, that's very concerning. So I hope you do vote for this. And it sounds like y'all will. So thank you.
Next speaker is Clarence Williams. On deck is Susan Spataro, then Brian McGivern, followed by Virginia Raymond. If your name has been called, please approach the podium and state your name.
Thank you. Susan Spataro, and I live in District 8. Everyone talks about the community, and I want to say the kind of community that I'm representing today are people who go to work every day, follow the law, don't use drugs, pay their taxes. When they run out of money, they take a second job. They call 911 when they're afraid and hope that public safety takes care of them. So I would like you to hear that voice. I was very disappointed when, in fact, the petition that started out, and the people who started the petition are very knowledgeable, but it contained sections that were illegal as far as 143. Then it came to council to put it on the ballot, and even though your own attorney said there are illegal parts of that, it went on the ballot anyway with those legal parts. Then people voted, and now it comes to you and with illegal parts. I strongly believe in the rule of law. When the government takes our money, you owe it to us to follow the law. Citizens should not have to be able to sue you, and this is the kind of thing that happens. The truth of the matter is a small amount of police should be treating people well. I absolutely agree with that. And if they're not, they need to be disciplined. I don't disagree with that. But what we have been doing in this town since 2020, when we decided to have a very small group, not the community as a whole, talk about defunding the police, which was happened, reimagining public safety, crime went up. You want to hear some really horrible things? Travis County lead all the counties across the state in fentanyl-related deaths, more than 5 deaths for every 100,000 people. El Paso was the next with just under 3. There's nothing good about that. Car thefts. Anyway, I will stop there, but I hope that you follow the law. Thank you.
Next speaker, Chris Harris, followed by Sarah Rodriguez and Misael Ramos.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Chris Harris. I'm here representing Equity Action. I'm a resident of District 9. I want to start off by thanking the co-sponsors for this item. Thank you, Councilmember Vela, for your legal acumen that you bring. Thank you, Councilmember Alter, for your really close read of the law. Thank you, Councilmember Velasquez, for your heart, your humanity. Thank you, Councilmembers Ellis. Thank you, Councilmember Fuentes. Thank you, Councilmember Harper-Madison. You've supported police oversight, particularly as represented by Prop A from the beginning in that scene. And of course, thank you, Councilmember Kadri, for your leadership on this item and dedication to seeing this through. Really appreciate those of you in support. And, you know, I think it's the main thing of course of note about this is just unfortunately why we have to be here because we shouldn't. And I think you heard from someone earlier during citizen communication about their poor experience with the Civil Rights Office. Many of you have heard over the last 2 weeks meetings that we've had about people's poor experience with police oversight in the last months. Direct experience from people who've experienced these offices. And I think it's and obviously we had the whole fight over the equity office during the budget. And I you know, it's hard not to see the pattern of the offices that are designed to help protect people from the status quo, protect people from big business, from discriminatory practices, systematically being undermined and not functioning properly under this current city leadership. And unfortunately, the will of the voters not being implemented without y'all stepping in to make sure that it is. So I think it's important for us both to move forward with this item, and I really appreciate everyone who's going to support that item, but also to continue to question why it is that these offices are functioning this way and why you have to do this. Thank you.
Next is Sarah Rodriguez, followed by Misael Ramos.
Is it okay to sit down here? Yes, please be sure you push the button so that the microphone comes.
It looks like it's already
You got
on.
it.
Sorry,
Thank you.
sick, a little sick,
That's
and
all
so
right.
waiting. Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone here and thank everyone for taking the time to pass this. It's a little disappointing that it has come to this. I will say, for me, the thing that's even more heartbreaking and even more scary is that I've worked at the City of Austin for 5 years with the office that helped to turn the OPM into OPO, to help get the complaint form and thank you form online, and also with OPO itself. So I know how dedicated these people are. And so when you hear things like that about people who have had bad experience, that's not the staff. And so it just makes me wonder about the mismanagement, the lack of resources, the lack of support. You know, so many things that OPO did, like publishing updates on their research, all of these different things, I don't see them anymore. And I know that that's not a lack of caring. You know your staff, you know they care about this issue. They could work anywhere for $25,000, $50,000 more salary. But they're staying here because they care about this issue. And so I just ask that in this implementation, it's not just an implementation, it's an implementation that's focused on the community. I shared, I think, in the contracts, all of the research that was done around the online complaint form. And the current version, the anonymous, forgive my language, the bullshit anonymous status, it's ridiculous. How can you ask someone to give their name when they're afraid, when this is the only avenue they have? And so it's anonymous and it meets with the requirements, but it doesn't serve residents, it harms them. And so I'm just asking you to take that into consideration as you vote this through, as you implement this through, that you think of residents, especially those who are most affected by it and who would be most afraid to come in and who are going to suffer the most if it isn't done right. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Misael Ramos.
Hey everyone, my name is Misael Ramos, and I am speaking in favor of item 99 for implementing certain policies that expand police oversight, providing in-time updates to the public, and creating public work group to help inform our city on what our police force is doing. As you all know, our city passed Prop A recently, though there was a ton of money thrown at opposing it. When it comes to policing, any additional oversight is a positive thing, especially for Black and brown communities that have historically been victimized by the police. I come here to speak about my family's experiences with policing. In 2021, my cousin Ashton Pinky was shot and killed by Mesquite PD. The healing journey from the murder of my cousin has been a tough road for me and all of my family. But we've been getting through it by celebrating and loving one another. No other family should have to go through this. Yet in our own city, time and time again, we see this happening. Prop A and the policies that come with it is a positive step that our city should be taking in the right direction to ensure there's accountability within our police department. It's time for our city to lead the state and what it looks like when the citizens have proper oversight and input on policing. I urge this council to do the will of the people and implement Prop A as it was drafted when the city was asked to vote on it. I want to thank Councilmember Zoe for putting this on the agenda and all other supporting council members for co-sponsoring this item, and especially Councilwoman Harper Madison for her unwavering stance on this. I urge everyone to support this fully. Thank you.
Sarita Fontanesi.
Hi there. My name is Sarita Fontanesi. I am here in favor of Agenda Item 99. Mostly, I am here to remind Council that as elected officials, you are all working for community members. And back in May, the community said that police oversight was something that we cared about, that was important, and mattered to us. So I'm here just to encourage the council to uphold the will of the people, the folks that you all represent and ultimately work for. Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes all the speakers.
Thank you. Members, that concludes the speakers. A motion has been made and seconded to approve item number 99. Is there discussion? Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you. I appreciate the recognition. Just a moment. I'm sorry. I need to pull up my notes here. This is a really difficult item. And in light of the new information that we received, and because version 2 came out yesterday very late in the day, I've not had enough time to speak to my constituents fully regarding this item. I was just at a HOA meeting on Monday, and it was brought up as a topic of discussion, but things have changed so much. I cannot in good faith vote in favor of it with such little time to consider the implications. So I will be voting no on this item. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Velasquez.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to be shown as a co-sponsor on the item.
All right, you'll be shown as a co-sponsor on item number 99. Other discussion before I call on Councilmember Harper Madison.
I'd also like to be shown as a co-sponsor and just want to deeply appreciate after the work that we did, all those years ago, that a brand new council member is diving in head first into the things that matter most to the community. I'm proud of you, and I appreciate your leadership.
Councilmember Harper Madison will be shown as a co-sponsor of item number 99. Councilmember Caudry, I'll call on you to close.
Yeah, I want to thank all the speakers who were able to speak and those that weren't able to speak. I always say anyone who's coming to City Hall to speak on an issue deeply cares about their community. So we really appreciate it as a dais. And I just want to highlight again, because it can't be said enough, Prop A passed with almost 80% of the vote, and everything that we are looking to implement is legal. I think there's often been stuff said, both on social media and in this room at times, with some speakers that it's illegal. It's not. Everything that we're looking to implement is legal. So I want to thank all our co-sponsors, Councilmember Alter, Councilmember Vela, Councilmember Ryan Alter, Councilmember Vela, Councilwoman Fuentes, Councilmember Velasquez, and Councilwoman Harper Madison. And then, as the mayor mentioned, I know we still have to vote on this, but with the new AG ruling, there's a lot of moving pieces. So our office is looking forward to bringing forward another item when we get more clarity. whether that's in the coming weeks or coming months, I'm not sure. It's an evolving situation, but we want to see this through. So with that, I move for adoption.
There's a motion on the table, and it's been seconded. We have one voting no. Is there anyone else wishing to be shown voting no? Without objection, item number 99 is adopted with Councilmember Kelly being shown voting no. So that handles 99, and congratulations, Councilmember Cadre and the co-sponsors. Members, Councilmember Kelly was inadvertently off the dais when we took up item number 55. She would like to be shown voting on that item, voting in favor of it.